2020 was a year with a lot of ups and downs, mostly downs. We had to stay inside a lot because of you know what. But because of that, I got to play a lot of games that year. So, let's talk about them. Just to be clear, these are the games that I played in 2020, not the ones that came out in 2020. There are some that came out in 2020, but that's not focused on that. It's just the games that I played and liked in 2020. Also, yes, this video is really late. I know, I'm sorry. Shut up. Celeste is amazing. Celeste is a platformer about a girl who is trying to climb a mountain, despite having any knowledge or experience in climbing mountains, so she falls off a bridge. But not to worry, cause she can do this! Dash! This is one of the biggest reasons why this game is so good. Any game that has a dash ability is automatically good in my book. You also got a climbing ability that's kinda like Breath of the Wild, where you have a limited amount of stamina, because well, you're climbing a mountain. And on the surface, these two abilities may look fairly simple, but they throw in these different mechanics every level to keep things fresh. You got this traffic light platform that moves on the track when you stand on it. Then later in the level you find out that you can launch yourself using it. You got this space block thing, you got this bubble. The story is also really beautiful. I don't want to spoil it, so I'm not going to talk about it right here. But believe me when I say, it's really beautiful. Also, there's a grandma who laughs in your face every time you see her. Ori and the Will of the Wisps is one of the most beautiful games I have ever played. I mean, are you seeing its art style? Are you hearing this music? This is art right here. In Ori and the Will of the Wisps, you play as Ori, a spirit guardian. It's just fun to just control Ori. Ori controls super well, plus you got all these cool abilities, like this sword thing, which is your main attack. You got a double jump, you got a dash, there it is again. You can slow down time and launch yourself using projectiles and enemies, and you can also use that ability to cause damage to the enemy by slamming a projectile against them. And the story? Man, the story. All I want to say is get your tissues ready, cause you're gonna cry a lot. You should have called it Ori and Cry. I'm not good at joke titles. Go to the next one, please. Go to the next one. Go. I've gotta be honest, I'm not too familiar with South Park. I mean, I think it's been like 6 years since I last watched an episode. But when I heard there was a game based on South Park that played like an episode of the show, I was like, I wanna play that. This is cool! And I love this. South Park The Stick of Truth is a game that I love. I love that the art style is very faithful to the source material. I love the humor, which is South Park humor, so it's not for everyone. The combat is really interesting in this game. It is turn-based combat, which I'm not a gigantic fan of, to be 100% honest. But it's mixed with reflexes and it keeps it interesting. You can deal extra damage or block attacks if you time it correctly. But there was a sequel to this game that I never got around to playing for some reason until this year. South Park The Fractured Butthole. I hate that title. Everything that I've said about South Park The Stick of Truth is here, and there is more of it. The art style, humor, but this time the combat is even better. Instead of last time the combat being this Final Fantasy turn-based combat, it's more strategic. It's kinda like chess. You've got spaces you can move your characters to, but if a space is occupied, you cannot put your character there. One of my favorite things to do with this combat is surround the enemy, and then use an attack that knocks the enemy back, pushing them into one of my allies, and then they push them back, causing extra damage. One more funny thing, I was used to Animal Crossing controls when I played this game, which has X as the inventory button, and this game has X as the fart button, so every time I went to open my inventory, Doom Eternal is a fun game where you can relax, talk to your animal neighbors and do chores to pay off your debt. It's a calm, relaxing game. Oh no wait, that's Animal Crossing. What's Doom Eternal again? Eternal. More like good game. Got him. But seriously though, this game is so much fun. I was already a big fan of Doom 2016 when it came out in 2016. Good script right there. And this game looks at that game and goes like, I can do that better. Just like the first game, there's an incentive to always be on the move. But this time around, the game is way harder. The enemies take longer to kill, hit harder, and are way smarter. That rhymes. God dang it. So there's even more incentive to move around. You stand still, you die. It's not like most shooters where you're like, Charlie team, we're pinned down, we gotta shoot the enemy until we've taken too many shots and then stand there behind this wall for 20 seconds so our health can regenerate. No. You're like, you're always moving because again, you stand still, you die. There's no regenerating health just like in Doom 2016, so you are responsible for getting the health. You gotta use your flamethrower to get armor, glory kill enemies to get your health. And speaking of the glory kills, they are back and they are as gruesome as ever. They're brutal, callous, inhuman. Get it? Cause they're demons. You slice, stab, punch a guy's head so hard that it goes into his chest. You can punch a dude over and over again. Because it's funny. And then die, yay! This time around you got a lot more maneuverability. You got a dash, there it is again. You got monkey bars you can swing off to, adding some verticality to the game. You got an upgrade that makes the Doomslayer more maneuverable in the air. You should get that one, just a tip. Also, each enemy has an exploitable weakness. These meatballs open their mouths when they attack, so just throw a sticky bomb in there to stagger them. These big guys have guns for arms, so just shoot the guns to disable them. These spiders have a cannon that is super overpowered, so there's a big reason to shoot it off immediately. This pink guy has a really strong armor, so you gotta get behind him to shoot his tail, which is his weak point. Each weapon and each modification to that weapon has a purpose. The ballista is effective against flying enemies. The chain gun is strong against the really big enemies. There's a meat hook attached to a shotgun that you can use to shoot yourself to the enemies. And then you can upgrade that meat hook to burn enemies and then get armor like that. Oh my god, this game is so good! Because each weapon has a purpose, you're always switching weapons and making quick decisions. I really believe this game is one of the best first-person shooters ever made. It's that good. Crank the game up to Nightmare and you'll experience one of the best and most challenging first-person shooters ever made. I'm not that good at shooters. I mean, I barely beat the game on easy the first time I played it, but even I managed to beat Nightmare difficulty on my third playthrough, because I kept my cool and had patience. Sure, I died a lot, but I tried again and I began to understand how the game works. And I got good. And that felt so amazing. I advise anyone who likes challenging games to buy this game right now. You know what, actually, all I have to do is show this. You can have a minigun that splits into 4 different ones. Yeah. I don't know what that screen was. That's not the best mod though, get the energy shield. Animal Crossing is an intense first-person shooter where you have to kill demons. Dang it, that's Doom again! Animal Crossing is a game where you are a person who lives on an island with animals who act like people and you do chores to pay off your debt. I don't know how to make this game sound exciting. You just like vibe, you just relax. You can play this game at your own pace. You can fish, you can catch bugs, you can decorate your island and house, and of course you can invest in the stock market. No, seriously, there's a stock market where you can buy turnips from this pig character and they vary in prices throughout the day. And you can then sell them at the shop for stacks of money. You can make paths and literally terraform your own island. Or you can water your flowers. The point is, there is no ultimate goal to this game. You just live. You don't have to go from point A to point B. You can do whatever you want. You can start at point A, go a little bit to B, and then go back to A. This is the ultimate game you can relax to after a long day. So go buy it. That was the video.